The stupid stories of my life that illustrate how I became successful at things. And I don't want to tell you that too, it's all good stuff. Because you know, this autism thing isn't all good stuff. The autism thing contains plenty of bad stuff. Autism is, after all, a disability. Most of us get diagnosed because we're failing at something. That's what disability is. Like when you read the stories of my childhood, those are stories of a disabled child because I failed socially, I failed academically. That's what disability is about. When I thought about that in writing this book, I first thought that my social isolation, my social blindness, and my loneliness was purely a disabling trait. Because of course, if you read the stories and look me in the eye, that is clearly the message that comes through. But the more I thought about it, I realized that even my social weakness actually had a component of gift to it. Because when you consider what I did to emerge from disability, I was a failure as a kid. And I left home and I joined a rock and roll band, and I lived with those people, and I learned more and more about electronics until I found myself out there building that stuff for KISS and for other bands and things that people read about. But I thought about how that came about, and I realized that as much as I wanted friends when I was 5 and 10 and 15 years old, I wanted friends as much as any of you did. I just didn't know how to get there. But if I had been able to have all those friends, I would not have had the thousands of hours that it took for me to really become an expert in electronics. Because I was not some natural-born genius that just understood how to make sound equipment and could go out and make it for big bands. What I was a social misfit that didn't have any friends, and I had this autistic interest in electronics. And when I was a little kid, everyone thought my autistic interest in electronics was just one more example of what a crazy freak I was. But when I took that crazy freak interest in my lack of friends, and I studied electronics because I could win with electronics when I lost with friends, and I got better and better and better at it, and boy, by the time I was 21 years old, and I was building stuff for Pink Floyd's sound company and KISS and those people, by that time, I had probably spent more hours in the concentrated study of electrical engineering than most people with doctorates in the field at this university. So when you look at me and you think, well, I did stuff that people at that university didn't do, it's not because I'm a genius and they're not. Son of a bitch, I worked harder. I believe that is the truth. And that's really a sort of a false thing that I sort of conveyed in Look Me in the Eye. I didn't make clear to all you people how hard I had to work to achieve those successes. I didn't tell you how many electronic devices went up in smoke and how many thousands of dollars of perfectly good radios and televisions, other devices I sacrificed in the pursuit of my knowledge. But you know, that's what I did. And I also didn't realize at that time how my childhood sort of paralleled what we do today in the autism world. Like that joining a band. I told you all how proud I was that I was living with this rock and roll band and making $80 a week at that.
What instrument did you play in that band?
I played the sound systems. I built the sound equipment and I ran it for the band. I never played the instruments. I was the crew. So anyway, I was so proud of myself making money doing that. But now that I have a better grasp of the autism and Asperger world, I realize all you folks today that are younger than me, you have a modern day equivalent of that. You call it a group home. So they pay 50 or 100 grand a year to send people with autism to group homes to teach them basic social skills that I got paid $80 a week to learn with that band. Now in a group home, they try and make everyone wake up at the same time and make everyone get up and do things, and everyone has to sit together and eat at the table. And boy, that's exactly what happened with that band. You just by God got up or somebody would kick you and pour things on you until you did. And if you thought you weren't going to go to the show, you had another thing coming. They would put you in the car and they would bring you with them. And everybody did everything together.